when I got pregnant with my kid, I didn't gain much weight. But after I had my baby, he was an active breast sucker. I had to eat. I gained at least 25 pounds
Yeah.
within the first 4 months.
Okay.
But I was confident that I was raising and nurturing another human being.
Mm-hmm.
And whether my husband likes it or not, my body has to change. And he's seen those changes because my kid will not eat anything except breast milk.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to actually do more to be able to take care of my child.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not ashamed. Like Bella said, I asked for sex when I felt ready.
Yeah.
And I was very comfortable in myself. I was very confident. And there were times where, when we had that extra minute, we would just talk about, oh, your stomach is big now. Oh, you have this scar. It reminds me of my child. And then your husband, who is supportive, will want to be like, oh, I'll name this scar after our child, or this particular stretch mark after our child. There are some things that will ease it off.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about it, it eases off. But if you don't have a supportive partner and he starts body shaming you,
Mm-hmm.
it takes away a lot.
Yeah.
Like, the first thing a woman would think, like, this ungrateful bastard, I gave you a child and you're shaming me,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think it's just the atmosphere in a home that
Mhm.
makes it right to increase your libido, or that makes it right to decrease your libido
Yeah.
and your mindset.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like we've talked a lot about how sex can, you know, destroy a relationship, and then we've kind of figured out a conversation about how we could fix that and make it work and make the relationship work, right? Marilyn just also brought up another thing that could destroy a relationship after a baby comes, and she's talked about the body weight and the changes that come with
Yeah.
with having a baby, right? Some men would say, hey, you were really skinny and sexy, now you put on 25 pounds, like you say, and you're not, I don't find you as attractive as I used to find you, which means that he's probably no longer as interested in having in making love or having sex with you, right? Which pushes him apart, and then the woman is offended because the man thinks she's fat or she's added some weight, and then it pushes her away too. That in itself can cause couples to move apart and eventually even choose not to be in that relationship at all, right?
Well,
So
right.
it's just wanting to talk a little bit about the changes that happen with a woman after birth, but the physical changes that happen, and how men could look at that and
Let
move
me
away from it.
let me come in for this particular issue of how the body changes and how it starts drifting people apart. Yeah, we know that men are really visual, as I say, but at the same time, it just depends on you, the woman, on that individual, of how comfortable you are gaining that weight and staying with that weight, or just keep gaining the weight. And I know to an extent that I know the man that I marry at the same time. But I know there is one thing. You know how they say men marry us not expecting us to change, and us women, we marry men expecting them to change?
Change them, yeah.
This is very true. Very true in the sense that you think that somebody is going to change, but usually, in most cases, they don't.
Yeah.
But it still boils down to the fact where you, the man, get married to this skinny, flat tummy, big ass girl, and you think that she's gonna stay like that forever, even having children. It's a dream, but
Yeah.
I'm looking at it from a perspective where sometimes it's not always bad for your husband to bring this to your attention. It is bad the way it's been said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because as Marilyn rightly mentioned that it takes a lot, it does, especially the way the man will say it.
Yeah.
I always use myself as an example. I'm a person that watches, like, I really care about the way I look
Right.
before babies and even after babies.
Yeah.
I know I'm never gonna go back to how I looked exactly before babies,
Yeah.
but I don't want her like look like a grandma
Right.
after my babies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I am aware of how I want to look. And
Why is that important?
it is important because it's important to me. My body
Yeah.
image is important to me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to lose weight because my husband wants me to. I want to lose weight because I want to look the
Yeah.
way I love myself, my body to look like so. It doesn't have anything to do with self-esteem. Some people think that when they change, then their self-esteem dropped. For me, it's not. It's just how comfortable I want to look. My body image is important to me, and I want to keep it. A good example for me is when I had my baby, like especially the second one, I had put on a lot of weight. My husband did not complain. I was at home. I was very aware that I had put on a little bit of weight because I could stand in front of the mirror and see how my tummy looked like, how my arms looked like, how my love handles looked like. And I wasn't happy with that, but I gave myself time. I said I was going to stop breastfeeding and I was going to work on this. Most importantly, he came back home one day and he brought me a gym membership and a corset. He never told me I had put on weight. He never told me that he didn't like the way
But
I
that
looked.
is
Isn't that a way?
Yeah,
But
but
most women will find that very offensive.
very offensive.
is
I
good.
did not find it offensive.
But you agree with me that most
how
women
is
will
it
find that very
different?
offensive.
How is it different from a man who
Telling
tells you
you.
outright that you're putting
Yeah.
weight and you're fat?
Exactly.
Well,
How is that different?
Exactly.
Yes.
Different in the sense that he did not tell me, but
He
he
gave you
said
gym
I
membership.
cared about the fact that you're putting on weight and you should work on it.
Yeah.
And this is why I say it depends on each person. I already knew that. So telling me that was just confirming already what I knew.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And when he came, I actually said thank you. But
You did.
yes,
You didn't.
no, I didn't, because before he even brought in a corset, I was already wearing one.
Yeah.
And you know why? Everything is about learning. Sometimes we think that we know everything, but we don't.
Yeah.
I had my first kid in China,
Yeah.
as you all know. As soon as I came out from the surgery room, 2 ladies lifted me up, and the first thing that got on there was a corset. They clipped it there on that wound. It's not a joke. So it came with it. And they told me I had no right to take it off, no matter how much pain I felt. I had to sleep with that, and they only had to take it out every time they had to care for that wound. And when I left the hospital after a week and I got back home, my tummy was already back to normal. So this gave me an open mind when he brought it. But for somebody that did not know about that, would take that as an offense.
I think most women will take that.
Would take that as an offense. So that is what I'm saying.
It's the
So
way it's been presented.
Exactly.
I will come to the presentation. If
Yeah,
you
you guys have to
if we are
tell us
having
how
a
you have
if
to
we are
present
having
it.
Yeah.
if we are having a conversation like
Right.
this,
Yeah.
then you bring that up as a conversation. That could be just fine. But when you get offended and you're all rattling on something else,
Yeah.
and you bring that up, that is not
Yeah.
the way
Yeah.
you want to bring up that to a woman. Maybe the men will find it okay, but if you bring that up in a way that we're having a conversation at dinner, I serve you food,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, then you say something, you know how to communicate with me. You know what I like, how I like to be communicated with.
yeah.
You
So
should know that for a couple of years that we've lived together, that is expectation that you should be aware of. If you
Right.
don't know, let's try something else.
and it still boils down to the approach.
Yes.
I would say this. You men sometimes your expectations of how we look is completely different from the way we women will perceive it.
Yeah.
And it still boils down to the fact that sometimes us as women, we never complain about the fact that your tummy is growing bigger, your hair is
Because women don't
You're-
really care
you
that
should
way the way men
normalize
care.
it.
Yes, we should normalize
should
it.
normalize
And just
it.
the fact that we think that because we are growing older, we're expecting these changes. We don't complain about your tummy that's bulging out, about your hair loss, you're becoming bald.
Yeah.
It doesn't change that much. But then we take it as an offense when you start, as Marilyn said, you start naming, you start body shaming, you start saying, look how fat you are, or whatever. If you say something like that, I won't say anything, but I'll actually boil like oatmeal porridge and pour it on your leg.
Was-
So you get
Anyway,
that scar
we're gonna,
and think about it.
We're
Yeah.
gonna get how to say it. You guys are gonna tell us how men are supposed to say it.
Yeah.
But before that, do you think it's an easy conversation? I'm gonna ask Asang here from the man's perspective. Is it an easy conversation to talk to a woman about her weight?
To your wife or your girlfriend
To
or
your wife.
whoever.
Yeah.
No, it's not I don't think it's an easy.
think
It's a tricky conversation to have. I think it is a
Most
tricky
women will take
conversation
it
to
very
have
offensive, no matter how nicely you put
because yeah, of course, no matter how well
most
you
women will take
put it,
Yeah.
and most men, because they don't want to offend
They
or
won't
they
say
don't
anything.
want to stir trouble, would not make
anything.
mention of it. Not necessarily because your size affects them in any way. They understand that this is really you've changed, that you've gained weight, you've changed a lot after birth. It doesn't necessarily affect me. but maybe it's something that for you
I think it
to
affects you.
know. It did not affect me in any way.
And
And-
another thing, as I'm sorry for cutting you short. Another thing is the fact that sometimes some women, sorry to say that, some women sometimes when we give birth, we become very complacent. And every time a man wants to say one word, you're already there. Hey, I'm breastfeeding. I need to chop.
yeah.
I need to eat because this baby's milk is coming out from here. You know, but still, a lot of women know that at the back of their minds.
they know that.
They are hiding behind the baby to eat
That's a
whatever
good
they
point.
want.
A lot of women
you know,
take advantage
Yes,
of
for
the baby.
sure.
yes.
Take advantage of that and hide behind that and refuse to work out or refuse to take care of themselves.
Yes. So I do think like it's still, as I say, it boils down to the fact of how you perceive yourself, how you want to look.
Right, how you wanna look.
Because when you care about your body, you care about your image, you're aware of the fact that this is the way I want to look, then you will be comfortable having that conversation. if somebody tells you.
Question for Ghana: if again, just an example, if your wife decides to not improve on herself, so she's gained 25 pounds and she decides that she's not losing it,
Yeah.
what then?
I hate that. That's very selfish.
No, I'm just saying.
No,
I'm
that's
just
very
saying. What
selfish
then?
of the woman.
For
That is very
no,
selfish of the woman to do that.
because it doesn't serve your purpose.
No,
because-
it doesn't serve me, but it's very selfish.
So
of
it's
the
not
woman.
about her, it's about you, because you think she's selfish. She doesn't want to lose the pounds so that you can continue
Exactly.
to like
That's the
or
point
to
about
love
marriage.
her. No.
That's the point. I'm not to love her. You can still love somebody and want them to lose weight.
Asong,
I mean, it
Asong.
comes from a place of love.
Ghana, sorry, I'm not cutting you
let
short.
me, let me finish my point.
Yeah.
It's very selfish because women ought to know that the way men look at relationship and sex is different from the way women look at it. Men are very visual people, and if you don't care about your weight as a wife, you're very selfish in that relationship.
No, the question, that's not the question. What then?
What
She's
then?
decided that
Yes.
she's not losing the
And
weight.
that's why I'm saying she's
What
very
then?
selfish.
What then?
What then?
Asong is asking,
I agree,
are you gonna,
she's selfish.
are you
So
gonna
what?
walk out of that relationship because she doesn't want to lose the weight?
Personally, I don't believe
You're
in
gonna
cheating.
encourage-
I don't know, but
gonna
there are some women
encourage
who
her.
are really stubborn and they don't want to change, and they frankly they hide behind raising
What
children.
then, Ghana? You're not
I don't
answering
know.
my question. What
it's a
then?
very frustrating thing. To
Asong,
deal
I'll
with.
put it straight to you. These are some of the
It's a very
how would I
frustrating thing
say,
to do.
these are some of the intricacies that we get into when we get into relationships.
Yeah.
And outrightly sometimes, not because we are in a marriage hinders us from living our truths.
Yeah.
That is the point. Being married to somebody doesn't mean that you're not gonna be that person that you are, or you're gonna try to
Yeah.
please this person all the
Right.
time. If I want to live my truth in a relationship, I need to communicate.
Communicate, yeah.
And if I need to communicate, somebody needs to listen to
No,
me.
I get your
If
point.
you
like,
know
what
my
then?
needs
My-
at the same time, if you know your needs and you keep it away from this person, that's what
How do you
crumbles in
communicate?
marriage.
Yeah.
And honestly, Asong, there is no need trying to sweep things under the carpet, because the day it comes out, it comes like an explosion
Yeah.
where you start seeing people not talking to each other and the relationship just gradually dies. There is nothing that will kill a relationship than you not telling the truth to the other person.
Like
And
what you want.
yes, like what you
Yeah.
want. And Asong, at the first, I will tell you, it is not selfish, because that is what you want. When you get into a relationship, forget about the fact that we talk about partnerships in a relationship. We still live our separate lives.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we are respecting, when I say separate lives, we respect what each other likes.
Yeah.
If my husband likes to go play tennis, he
Yeah.
will go play tennis. If I want to go to the park with
No,
the children,
we are not talking
I
about. We
go.
are talking about your
Right.
body.
Body.
We are not talking about activities that people want to do.
But-
we are talking about your body.
I-
You have
Can I-
made
something?
a decision.
yes, at the same time, Asong,
Marilyn get in.
when we got married, when I got married to, or when you got married, right? There was something you loved about your wife. Is it selfish of you to say, okay, I know that you can't go back to that original
They
self, but
do
could
some-
you
the
work on
best.
it? Could you do something?
The best, yeah.
I believe for the health, your health is also depending on how your weight is. So if we come around, if you're having difficulties communicating the weight and you come around, there should be some ways. You're not manipulating them to do it, but you're coming in around to say your weight has could have an impact on you. You're not loving her because of her weight, but you're giving the benefit. If they're not doing it, if they
Yeah.
don't want to do it, You bring a way to
Because I'm
encourage.
telling you now, some women are really stubborn and they
Yes.
hide behind these
To encourage-
Can I
raising
chip in
children.
something?
Let's not forget
Marilyn-
about talk
Marilyn
only
is a-
about the
No,
women.
no,
Let's
we're
talk
gonna
about the
take
men
out-
Talk
too.
about the men.
we're
Yes,
gonna
talk
take
about the
Some
men
men are
too.
stubborn too, but
Marilyn,
for now,
come in.
some women are really stubborn and they hide behind raising children and they just eat 3 pound fufu at 10 o'clock night, drink soup and all that kind of stuff.
That's the part about the food that
Drink soup,
and they drink.
drink milk
Let's-
and bread at 2 a.m.
Let's
and
go-
all that kind of
Let's
stuff.
go back home and
Ghana.
they drink alcohol because
And
they
drink
want,
alcohol.
the breast milk to flow. Buffot. They
Marilyn,
want the breast milk to
Okay,
flow.
let Mary come in, so we're not ignoring her.
You all are saying good stuff. Ghana, some women are really stubborn. I fall in one of those categories, and sometimes it is also my right to have my body shaped the way I want it. The way a patient put it is that if you are body conscious before pregnancy, you will be body conscious after pregnancy.
Yeah.
So some women do not care how they look. They care that they have a child.
Mhm.
I may come from a background where none of my sisters have a child, or I haven't had a child in my marriage for so long that I have been insulted that I am barren. And now I have a child, I want to show off my child. And I want to do all to take care of my child.
Yeah.
Sometimes we become complacent, and self-care is not even in the list of the things we do.
Mhm.
For a first child, I find that most women adapt easily and they try to burn off the extra calories. But for women who have 2, 3, 4, it becomes a chore. If working out or maintaining your body shape is not something that has come as a problem or an issue or as a talk in your relationship,
Mhm.
you take it for granted and you just lose yourself in that process.
Yeah.
But again, I guess that one thing that we've learned is that so many ladies are actually taking care of themselves now in this era more than our parents
Yeah.
did.
that's true.
I don't
And
know,
when
though.
you look at it, when you go online, you see a mother of
Oh, yeah.
4 having abs. You ask yourself, how did she get it?
Yeah.
That is why, for me, I think that diet pills surgery is working a lot, because most of the people that were not socialized to go into different activities or to even listen to their husband and now finding other places that are doing adverts for these things, and they're like, hey, Mama Sabi, get right, make a try.
Mhm.
So
Not bad.
if you bring it forth, Ghana, as you say it to your wife. Sometimes it just takes patience and encouragement.
Yeah.
Maybe she wants to do it but does not know how to do it.
All right.
And the way you say it will make it a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
We overprocess stuff. We overprocess. As a woman, I overprocess. And why was that look on his face when he said it? Oh, why is he thinking that I'm fat? Does he want to leave me?
Yeah.
Leave me, I already have my child, right? There are too many things that will play into that little thing that you said.
Mhm.
But when it comes to me, I gained a lot of weight when I had my child, and I started losing weight due to different events, because there was nobody that would tell me like you gain weight. The events that came into my life helped me to lose that weight. And sometimes, to each their own,
Mhm.
it is always nice to go the extra mile to help your wife if you think she's out of shape, and you can talk about it in a nice way.
Yeah.
And you guys can actually do activities with the kid that can help her if you have time.
So I still have this. The
if
question.
she
The question
refuses?
is still on the board. Your wife or your girl, whoever has decided that they are not losing the weight they put on after they give birth. What do you do?
What do you do?
What
can-
next? I'm not talking. I'm not. We know that you could encourage her and tell her all these stories. She has decided that she's not losing,
What do you
and
do?
you are not liking it. What do you do? Because we are talking
the
about
question to
how
the
it
men.
affects.
Yeah.
That's the question to
I
Ghana.
think-
Okay.
I think that if you ask me as a girlfriend or a wife, if I'm not losing that weight, Ghana, I will stand in the shoe of you now, and I'll speak from a perspective of what I would do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I will not break up the relationship.
Yeah.
I will not talk about her weight,
Mm.
but I will change one thing that she also wants me to do that I've done that is making her happy.
So you
Because
you
a
put
you would
back
make
on the
her
manager.
relationship is a give and
unhappy.
take.
So you make her
A
unhappy.
relationship is a give and I will take away something that is making her happy in that relationship.
Eh,
If it
Because
doesn't, if
my
it doesn't
own
work,
happiness has been compromised.
No, at the end of the day, this is what I'm getting at, right? at the end of the day, no matter what strategies you use, at the end of the day, if the weight is not changing and you can continue to love her and be excited about her in the same way that you used to before the baby came, it's very likely
That's where
that
I'm going
it's very
to.
likely that that relationship would not happen. Because even
That's
if
where I'm
even if you
going to.
use
The
Marilyn, even
relationship may not just.
because even if
Sorry.
we use your strategy of taking away something that she likes, she gets upset,
She will
that
not
it,
change.
it creates tension, you move
No,
apart.
Then there's
I was
something
not
else.
apparently
It's not
done.
about the weight.
And I get it that maybe that is a strategy that does not work for everybody. But as a woman, I know that when my man holds off something that I really like, I want to talk.
Well,
When
that's
my man takes away, let me say I love to watch Champions League and you don't like it and you take away the remote, or you unsubscribe to that channel that shows that thing, I want to have a conversation. And
I
if
think
we're having
that's
that conversation,
manipulative.
You want to start a fight.
There
yeah.
is something.
no, it is no, it is Ghana, where you are standing, you are going to have to manipulate that woman to do what you want, or you break
Yeah,
that
that's the
marriage.
problem.
And maybe sometimes manipulation will help to save your marriage rather than to break it.
Yeah.
Not
That-
every manipulation is bad. It depends on how it's being used.
That will save it for a while. There is something
It's
else.
still gonna break.
It's gonna break. There is something else
Yes.
underneath. It's not the weight. There's something
It's
else.
not the weight.
It's not
No,
the weight.
but that's
love
you
that
guys.
she-
That's you
if-
guys
if-
women saying that. For us, sometimes it's just the weight. That's
No,
it.
what you're trying to ask Ghana and the wife is not changing.
It
If
is
a
the
man
weight.
was to ask me that my wife is not changing, I'm telling her this thing, then there's something else why it's not changing.
She lost her weight.
Wait,
Ebai, sometimes
Ghana,
it comes to a simple fact that she doesn't want to.
Ghana, let me just chip in here something. Here, relationship is about two people.
Right.
I'll go back again. For you, that person, I'm wearing the shoes of Ghana right now.
Yeah.
For you, regarding Asong's question, if you are saying that I'm not gonna lose that weight no matter what you do, at the same time, I kind of look at it as selfish, and at the
It's
same
selfish,
time,
yeah.
I kind of look at it like you are not looking at the priorities of that relationship.
What about what about
And-
my priorities?
Yes, and that
Yeah,
is what
she's
that
talking
is
in
where
the
I'm.
perspective of a man.
That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
You, the man, is expecting her to lose this weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
She is refusing to lose the
Yeah.
weight. At that time, you're already thinking that she's selfish because she's already only thinking about herself, right?
Yeah.
You, the person that doesn't want to lose the weight, is saying, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to please you.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, if she is refusing, it's because she thinks that it is meeting your expectation.
Right.
It is not even for her. It is for you.
Yeah.
For me, as the man, I don't think they call it
Punitive.
punitive justice is what we want. Because, as Asong said, no matter what you do, I'm not going to lose the weight. At the same time, we do it to our children. As Marilyn rightly said, we have privileges that we take away.
Yeah.
But we also have priorities that we want to keep in this relationship. And Asong, I can tell you and I can assure you that for a woman that doesn't want to lose her relationship, she will do something about it. As Bella rightly said, if
So
she is
isn't it selfish
categorically
of me to
There is
think that
something
you
else.
have to
I don't
lose
think it's
your
selfish.
weight so that I can to please me? Isn't it selfish of me to expect that from you?
But that is what I'm saying. That is because she's interpreting that as selfish.
Yeah.
That is bringing in the inflexibility.
Yeah.
She is becoming inflexible because she thinks that you're selfish
I don't
asking
think
her to
that's
do
selfish.
so. But she's not putting that relationship as her priority
Yeah.
at that time.
So you to prioritize a relationship, you do what makes you unhappy.
No, it's not about being happy or not. It's about both of you being happy.
I think
I'll
sometimes in a
bring a
relationship
point.
you have to be unhappy. To
I'll bring
please
a
the other
point.
Yeah.
I'll bring a point there.
You have to
Compromise.
stretch yourself.
person. Yeah.
Compromise sometimes doesn't work if someone has set their mind on what they want. If the woman, it depends on the personalities of the man and the woman in
Yeah.
the relationship. If the woman is a woman that has got more ego than the man, and she says she's not changing.
Right.
She doesn't care whether the relationship breaks or not.
Yeah.
There is something else.
Yeah.
It's not that weight.
Yeah.
There's something else there. Either I don't want to go too far here. Either she's been through a home where the man was so controlling, and now she's seeing that same man, say the dad, in front of
The
trying
partner,
to
yeah.
trying to push for it to happen. It's not going to happen, even if the relationship breaks.
Yeah.
Especially when they have a child,
Yeah.
that they've transferred their love to that child, and they can find the child comfort on the child.
Can I make it easy?
Yes, go ahead.
So what if this woman has tried everything in the books and she's not losing weight?
That's
Then what
different.
next?
For me, that's different. Someone who tries, puts an effort.
Because
is-
the weight comes, it could stay there for
someone,
forever.
for me, that's different. Someone who puts an
You
effort.
would
is
understand.
different. It's
You would understand. You'd be more understandable
Yeah, than
that
someone
they've
who
made
says,
an
"I'm not doing
effort
it."
and have not been able to
Yeah.
lose the weight,
Yeah.
as opposed to
Because if
not
you-
making an effort.
Exactly.
Okay, I just
if,
thought
if, you,
I'd
if,
make
you,
it-
if you want to flip this,
Asong.
a man who is not supportive for a woman who has a baby, that man is selfish.
Asong.
If you want to flip it the other way,
well,
he's very
It boils
selfish.
down to the
Yes.
fact that if when a man, for example, is asking a woman to lose weight, no matter what you say, if your how do I say, if the words are not giving you the results, action
Yeah.
will give you the results. Action doesn't mean the relationship needs to break, and it still boils down to the priorities in the relationship.
Yeah.
If you, the man, wants her to lose weight, you will have to make time to say, okay, we need to go for a walk
Yeah.
every day for 30 minutes. If she categorically refuses, you bring her a gym membership and she says no.
Yeah.
You ask her to eat healthy and she says no. Because I've not seen men that goes out shopping, they prioritize what is in the house and she says no. It boils down to the fact to what Bella just said.
She
The
doesn't.
problem is not the weight.
So we've made it easier.
Yes.
For Ghana by saying that you brought her the gym membership.
All those
She's
things.
gone.
She's
Yes.
refusing.
And she's gone and attended, but she's not losing weight.
Yes.
You take her for walks 1,000 times a day. She's not losing
No, she
weight.
said
You
she
will
refused.
see.
do?
Yes.
She said she refused to go for the walk.
Yes, you will see that the man is making an effort and the woman is putting in an effort.
Yeah.
No, if you bring the gym membership and she goes and she's not losing the weight,
Yeah.
you think that man will stop supporting her?
No.
He won't. He will go to the
He's
extent
seen
where they
something,
can
right?
consult a specialist
Nutritionist,
or a dietitian
So
to see what
I
is
think
going
we
on.
are here and we think we have all the resources. Back, who takes his wife to a dietitian in
dietitian.
Cameroon?
And that is what you are saying. Back home, do we even need a gym?
Only the
Look at
church-
our
So what
environment.
happens to your wife
Who
when she
even-
puts on the weight?
Who even
How do you
takes-
get it?
who
How do
even
you
go
get
out
it
for a
up?
walk with the wife to go
In
for
back
a
home.
walk?
Nobody does that.
What we need is how active are
You are. Yes.
It's not your weight,
Yeah.
because the weight can stay there, but are you still active? Because
And-
we need you to be active.
And
No, but
come-
his problem is the weight. That's
And-
why
That's
I put the
the
question.
way.
His
And
problem
so-
was the weight.
I can assure you, it's easier to lose weight back home than here in Canada.
don't know.
You have the environment that you sweat. In Canada, you need to go to the gym to sweat.
You drive your car
Every
all the
single
time.
every single thing you eat back home is organic. It has nothing that's gonna affect your hormones here as we are getting to
Different
put things in
level
our
of-
bodies.
of keep putting on weight.
Yes, and then another thing is stress. We ignore the stress, but the stress back home will even help you
Oh my
lose
god,
that
the
weight.
stress here maybe is why I'm the way I am.
Yes.
Because I haven't gained weight since I gave birth.
Mhm.
I've had no one help me since I gave birth.
Yeah.
12 years ago, no one helped. I did it with my husband together.
Yeah.
So I felt that if I had someone to help me, I would have put on some weight.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the body of the person and where you find yourself.
Okay.
Because
And-
the active of the mom is very important
Yeah.
with the family.
Yeah.
The
And-
weight might not go, but how active are you?
And if you get married to a family where the girls are chubby, look at the aunties, look at the mom.
I
You
know.
don't expect her to be skinny,
Yeah,
right?
right.
That is who you got married to. Because if you look at my family honestly, if you look at all my dad's sisters, I come from a very pretty, curvy and chubby background.
Yeah.
So the minute I lose my eyes on those things,
Yeah.
then you just see me come out like that. So that is one of the things that's bringing us awareness too. You need to know your body
Family
type,
Or you get married to
your
the wife,
genes and whatever.
she's clean, but look at
Look at the family.
aunties. Look at the aunties and know what you would expect.
You
when
will
it
expect when
happens.
she's
Are
above
you-
40,
Are you
right?
ready for that?
Yes.
Are you gonna push for weight or you're gonna push for
That
activeness?
song is smiling.
That's fine. I think we've talked a lot about. I think really mentioned 2 points here. We've talked about sex. We've talked about physical body changes and how that might affect the relationship and how we could walk around lessening the impact on the relationship. Right. I know we've also mentioned communication. We've briefly pass on how we communicate, like just
Yeah.
how we communicate about telling the wife or the husband that you're putting on weight. We need to do something about it, right?
Can we also bring a
Oh,
point there?
we didn't say that. Okay, you guys as ladies, how should a man tell a woman how to lose weight?
Before we answer that, we want to know from the sex, before we go to the losing weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go back to you guys for the sex part.
Yeah.
So how would you expect your wife to approach saying no to sex to you both?
For her to say no,
No, how would you expect her to approach
yeah,
in communicating?
that she doesn't want sex.
Yes.
I'm in pain. I don't. You mean after a baby, right?
Yeah, after a
I'm
baby.
in
Before we go
pain.
to the body weight, let's
I'm
go
in
to that.
pain. I don't feel like having sex right now. I think most reasonable men will understand that
Okay.
after a baby.
What about you?
For me, I didn't ask. So I didn't
You
get
had
the
your
I
belief.
didn't get the
but
chance
if you had
to
to
get
ask
to that
what-
place. No,
if you-
I did not. I don't want to assume how I wanted to be well, yeah, I agree. If a man approaches you for sex and you
She
were
said-
not ready, I expect the
I think-
response that Ghana gave. But for me personally, I didn't go asking
And I
for
think
it.
most reasonable men will understand
Because
that if a woman says I'm in pain from this
Of course you would understand,
C-section
right?
or from giving birth, I think most reasonable men will.
So
understand.
how do you bond during that time? How do you manage bonding with
For
your
those
wife?
men who cannot cope, they can use me time. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Like bond with your wife. How do you bond
Yeah.
with your wife with the baby present?
Huh?
It's not
for,
only
for
about
me,
sex. Sex
bonding.
is
It's not
Yeah,
about
of course.
sex.
For
Yeah,
me,
there are many other things: holding the baby, carrying the baby, feeding the baby.
Not with the
With the
baby.
wife.
Your wife.
Oh, with your wife.
We
Yeah.
can't just leave your wife there.
Yeah, I mean, you can still bond without sex. I don't know what you mean. Like,
No, the time when you're waiting for the pain to go away.
Right.
How do you bond with them?
I don't know if there's any need for bonding.
no,
in
there's
a
need for
sexual
bonding.
way.
Non-sexual. I think
Yeah,
the question
in
is a
sexual way, I
non-sexual
don't think
way
there's any
to
need
bond.
for bonding for me.
Look,
We're talking about the non-sexual aspect
Bella,
of that.
So
Bella, I'm not a guy, but I'll come from my own experience, right?
Yeah.
Men, especially when it comes to this sex issue, I do think I'll talk about our men. I mostly talk about a lot of our men will not tell you how to feel, especially when they get that
Yeah.
refusal. Honestly,
Yeah.
they won't have the conversations.
what I'm saying is,
Some of-
so you are waiting while you're waiting for the pain to go away
Yeah.
before you could engage in sex. How do you bond?
You cuddle,
I'm
cuddle a
cuddle-
lot.
Okay.
Find
Because
something that
sometimes
you
cuddling,
two.
cuddling
Yeah,
happens.
I feel like you're asking, you're having two questions there. Are you asking how we deal with the sexual urges?
No,
at
they're
that
not-
time, or
No.
how-
That would be another one. I'm waiting. I'm
Yeah.
still trying to ask, how do you guys bond with your wife
Yeah,
during
I
that time? Do
feel
you
like
just
men
ignore
can-
them and say, "Oh,
No.
let me
No,
wait for
no,
okay"?
No,
Then
I think men can bond non-sexually with your wife.
And that's where I was coming to. Like, for me, my personal experience is the fact that, cuddling is one thing. The urge is there.
Yeah.
You understand? But another thing, while waiting, I will say this, I don't know how a lot of people watching will take it, but we need to be pretty flexible
Yeah.
when it comes to this issue
Yeah,
of
oh, yeah.
sex after babies.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes, or most of the times, it's really difficult to have these conversations, especially when you've not been sexually flexible
Prior to-
before babies.
When you say what's the flexibility? Can you?
Flexibility
Explain
just
your
means that
flexibility.
sometimes I'm pretty open, I always say. My mind is open when it comes to sex. Open in the sense that even after
Ready to try other
baby,
things.
yes, you need to be able to
I'm
explore.
sorry, Patience, you said your mind was open.
Was the
Yes.
other side open?
No, when I say
No, because I always know that when it comes to sex, the legs are open, not the mind. Sorry.
That's
I
a
know
good
when
point.
I say my mind is open is the fact that it all has to do with acceptance
Right.
of what extent you want to explore this part of the relationship.
Yeah.
And I honestly always say, when it comes to my goodness, I want it all.
Yeah.
So I have my limits.
Yeah.
But if it's that, it has to de-stress both of us.
Don't-
After waiting for me to heal.
Don't you think it's a problem that
I
you
will
have
have
to,
to.
you have to really go an extra mile and find these ways to please a man's sexual urges because he can't wait
No.
for 2 months?
For me, it's not pleasing.
It is pleasing because you're trying your very best,
But no.
so that this guy doesn't get upset because he can't
No,
get
You're
upset.
there is-
putting your
there is a
relationship
difference.
as priority.
No, there is a difference.
Prioritizing
No,
what
no, no.
relationship?
Your relationship.
As some, there is a difference between finding a need and pleasing someone. And when I say that there is a difference, I'm not there to please him because I'm not under any pressure.
But you're not doing it for you.
No, I'm not under any
So you're
pressure.
pleasing him.
No.
She
What?
wants to. She's working.
Wait. When you
What's
want...
wrong with pleasing your partner?
Excuse me.
It's
A song.
It's the both
A song.
parties.
I'm telling you this. My mind is pretty open. When I tell you that my mind is pretty open, it's because I want to do this for myself first. And I don't think that trying to look into the needs of your partner is a problem.
Yeah.
You're not pleasing them. But I want to look at the fact that I will wait for 6 weeks. He can wait for 6 weeks. It's not a problem. But I understand his needs. And I know the extent that I can go to just make him feel that relief and that
That
stress.
is where the problem is. That
From
you have,
that.
that you just gave birth. You have a C-section. You're in pain. Your body is crazy changing. Your mind isn't there. Everything is happening to you.
So-
but you would leave all that aside to find this. That is where the problem
But
is.
you're
That
making
is
you're
not a
making it sound
problem.
like
Yes.
it's 2 hours. This is
Wait.
just like 5 minutes.
Wait, no.
That's that
It is-
within 24 hours.
Ghana, I think we are coming from different perspectives here.
Yeah.
You are looking at this like he's the only one that needs it. You think that I don't feel the same?
But you are pleasing him.
No.
How are you pleasing yourself in that process?
So I'm not pleasing myself in the process that I'm not. Wait, I don't want you to look at it like I'm not pleasing myself.
You're not.
No, wait. Let me land.
It's a fact.
You are
You're
No,
not.
Let me land. You think that because I am making him not feel that, oh, I cannot have my goodness through penetration, I'm not still getting my satisfaction?
What are you getting?
But what's wrong in pleasing
No,
your
wait,
partner
no.
without pleasing yourself?
No, wait.
I don't
Let's
think
get,
there's
let's get to
anything
the
No.
bottom of this.
That is the problem. Is this is circumstantial. I understand if one day you don't feel like having sex, you're doing well, you don't feel like having sex, you go ahead and you do that quick and he's done, he's gone. Everybody's
Yes.
happy.
Yeah.
I understand that. But my problem is this, that a woman just gave birth.
Yeah.
Her body is changing. Your
Yes.
your hormones are crazy, right? You post whatever is happening to you after you give birth. You leave all that.
No.
You know, it's
satisfy
happening
the
to
man.
you.
No, no,
you
no.
leave
It
all
depends
that
on-
No,
to go
you are
satisfy
looking.
a man.
No. You are looking at it
You are looking at it
differently.
differently. She's
Yes.
saying something
Let me
different
tell you
about it.
What is she
something.
saying?
A song. Wait. When my body is going through all these things, do you think that the sexual urge is not part of it?
But you are pleasing. But so my question, the question I ask is this: so in that process, are you pleasing yourself? Are you getting any satisfaction, sexual
There's
satisfaction
something-
from
there's
that?
something else I'm not-
Absolutely. I am.
How?
Because if I
When you
need
give
to,
him a whatever they call it,
Wait.
how
No,
are
no,
you
no.
pleasing yourself?
Excuse me. Here, the pleasing doesn't come from the fact that I need to wait to hear. Or the pleasing doesn't come from the fact that he needs to wait until I hear. The pleasing comes from the fact that
You solve the
there is
problem.
there is no pleasing, there is no problem. We are bonding with each other.
We
That
are
is not
talking about the
sexual.
bonding.
Yes, we
We're
are
not
talking
talking
about
about
bonding.
sex.
That is non-sexual.
Oh, is that what we're talking
Yes.
Yes. I asked the question. She said she's gonna put herself in the man's shoes. Then she started.
That is what I'm
explaining.
talking about.
Wasn't she talking about sex the entire time?
Well,
I got
that's,
confused.
bonding is a part of the sex.
What I'm saying is,
Okay.
a 3/4 of a man's mind is not bonding; it's sexual intercourse. The intercourse part of it makes sex for a man,
Yeah.
Mhm.
not for every man though. But most of the times, women do crave bonding over the intercourse part of it.
Yes.
Because there are some men that do not know anything about foreplay, romance, kissing. They just know penetration.
Mhm.
Even in the deepest of the night, black night, they will find a hole. They will not even remember your face. So something will happen. And I beg to say that some of the activities that will happen after the child is born is only as a result of the feelings of support and love, or the feelings of resentment that existed during the pregnancy or even before the pregnancy. So sometimes after the baby is born, most women will use the baby as a shield. I'm not ready. I just had a baby. I'm not. No.
No.
Some of them are actually using the babies as shield, not opening up to have that conversation about how I was treated, and then boom, postpartum depression. It doesn't mean that women that were loved will not get postpartum depression.
Yeah.
It is the way you process your stuff. It is the way
Yes.
everything happened. Oh, before this pregnancy, you've told me you don't want a baby. Oh, before this pregnancy, I must have aborted for you. Oh, before this pregnancy, I must have had miscarriages. And some of them are back to back. You don't heal from them as a woman. Most men don't talk about this stuff with their women. Most
Yeah,
men don't know as well what to say. Some of the men who try to say it wrongly, and it brings a problem. So they close up. A man hates to be rejected. So it also depends on how we reject him when he brings up something that makes a difference about what is going to happen in the home. Then this
Yeah.
woman is pregnant. That man feels resented. You reject me all the time. I want to talk about your feelings. Let me let you.
Okay, we're just
Have
trying to
your
round
way.
up, Marilyn.
Situation is just at home. Everything that is happening in a relationship, not just isolated issues.
Okay. So, last question: how should a man approach a woman and tell her so that she won't take offense in terms of losing weight after a baby?
You want to take that first? I will take first
Yeah.
for that. Putting myself in a woman's shoes, I would expect my husband to communicate to me.
Mhm.
I would like to do it casually, not when you are offended about something else,
Yeah.
then you bring that up.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
offensive. That's disrespect. But over meal, you can bring that up. How you can bring that up? How at my health give me the benefit.
Convince.
How that would help me. It's a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How that would help me. But you would want to focus on because your love, because you can see if someone is telling you need to change because I'm not really
Because
loving
of
you
them, right.
because of them. Make it about me.
Yeah.
How it's gonna benefit me. That would be more positive way to put
Right.
it to a woman.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, it's just about finding the right time and the appropriate time to have that conversation. I do think that sometimes in most of our relationships, I still go back to us. We know who I'm talking about. People just throw things out there. There are a lot of people that don't have the concept of what communication is.
Yeah.
They don't look into how you're feeling at that time, your mood, or what conversations they need to bring up at what time. You know what? I'll tell you, I don't know, maybe for majority of women, when we are already in that position, we become really vulnerable. It's not because we ignore it, we are aware it is there. But then finding the appropriate time to have that conversation and using the appropriate words, like, I know that it's going to sound like I'm complaining, but I'm not. Why don't we walk through this journey together?
Yeah.
Because the journey of losing weight and like changing your body is something that's long.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to be consistent.
Yeah.
You have to be persistent. It affects you like mentally very much. It's draining because you're thinking at the same time that I need my husband to be there for me if I'm going through this journey. So it's just finding the appropriate time, the appropriate environment to have that conversation so the person can listen to you. And the person is not going to listen to you by you throwing words out there. The person is going to listen to you because you're choosing the right words, you're choosing the right time, you're choosing the right environment to have that
Okay,
conversation.
Marilyn,
So
same
that's
question
about
to
that.
you.
Me, it is it's not something that is a big issue, even the way they put it. If you're a family that jokes a lot, and you know your husband or your partner to be a joker, and he puts things not in a too serious way, but he will say it in a joking matter like, huh, babe, you see the size. I don't need doubt amo. Na so good day after one picking, then how good day after five. You know, it takes away that pressure. It takes away that pressure that he will say it in all seriousness. And sometimes you as the wife will reply and be like, no, we'll jog and we'll do something about it. To me, I think that it's finding it's knowing the timing, as the other black posts have said. Knowing the timing, you don't just know your partner that day. Know the timing, know when to pitch it into her, how to pitch it to her.
Yep.
Sometimes it is a matter of another person telling her, or her spouse telling her, that will make her realize that yes, it is getting out of shape. And most of the times too, it's not like we don't know. we stay in our maternity clothes because the other clothes have gone smaller. So it's like, babe, you not think say you have to let go this maternity clothes. Some of us, the sassy ones, will be like, oh, ever since I had a baby, you haven't bought anything for me. Maybe you want to get me larger clothes. And that can pop up that conversation. Why will I get you more clothes when I can get you a gym membership and we work out and you fit into your clothes, or I'll buy you size 8 if you lose 10 pounds? There are always perks that can make a happy home.
Okay.
So to me, that works for me, the
Okay.
way you will say it.
That was good. So this was. I think there's no perfect timing. If you want to ask me, there's always going to be consequences if you make that
And
decision.
Ghana, I hope, is vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no. If you bring up a woman's weight, it's not going to end well. Anytime.
And what
any-
about men?
If men too, but women take it more emotional. Than men.
Right.
Yeah.
I know that the men just want to put it out there no matter how.
You're still
You just
gonna
wanna put
if
it-
you put it the nicest way, you're still gonna get consequences. Anyway, this was really interesting. We had fun. There was lots to talk about, and I still feel like there's still lots to talk about, but because of time constraint,
Yeah.
we're gonna end here for